You know, yesterday we talked about the Carolina Tar Heels, and we talked about how they had lost 2 of their previous 4, and there was another shaky win, and we had talked about how there were speed wobbles. Right, best team in the ACC, sure, but they had some things they had to fix. And we read some comments on the air, a little bit of like, every team has worries. You just described teams 4 through 14 in the entire country. Well, does every team 4 through 14 drop 3 of 5 with 1 shaky win as one of the 2 wins and lose on the road to Syracuse and kind of get handled? Or were the warning signs that we were talking about when it was just a loss, or when it was just 2 losses, or when it was just 2 losses and a shaky win, when it was just a little blip, those warning signs came to fruition. There is something off with UNC. There is something off with the North Carolina Tar Heels. And they better fix it, and pretty darn fast, or else what are we going to be doing? We're going to be at the end of the year talking about, wow, you know, it's a shame they peaked in January. If the tournament would have started January 10th, they would have been in good position, but that's not when the tournament starts.
You peaked with your home game against Duke.
You peaked with your home game against Duke. Unless you fix it, right? And that's the beauty of a season, right? There's still games remaining. There's still on-ramp to iron out those wrinkles. But now I don't think there's anyone that can deny warning lights are on. I had to take my car into the shop today. You know why?
Why?
Check engine light. The check engine light is on.
Mm-hmm.
I think we dodged the bullet. I don't think it's going to be anything super expensive. So
was your gas cap not on too far?
I'm in a decent mood right now because it doesn't look like it is what everybody fears when all the engine lights pop on. The Niners. The North Carolina Tar Heels could end up like me right now. They could end up with like, oh, all the check engine lights popped on, took it in. It wasn't much. Or it could be, they gave me a call, and then I had to call my bank account, see how much was set up, see how much money I can move around in time to get what needed to be fixed.
Can I finance this?
Yeah, like let's have some conversations here. Do you need someone to sweep up the shop? Let's work. Let's start talking about some of the things they need to fix. Again, this was a warning sign we've been tracking for 2 weeks. RJ Davis needs to get his efficiency back up, particularly when he gets off the 3-point line. 7 for 17 from the field. It's now become, that's actually like not that bad of a day. It's low 40s shooting percentage. He needs to be up mid 40s to 50s minimum, especially the way he's shooting the 3, which again wasn't horrendous, but it wasn't the 40% we've been seeing from him. The efficiency needs to be there, even with, essentially his 20-point regular night, right? He had 19 points. So if this were, 96, meaning 1996, when the only thing we looked at was points, rebounds, and assists, you wouldn't notice that RJ Davis has dropped in efficiency a ton over the last 5 games. But because this is 2024, and because we have stats overload, because everybody knows every different stat, because I know, you want to know something that I know that there's no reason that I should know?
Okay.
Carolina has lost 3 straight games played on Tuesday.
Yeah, I heard that earlier today.
There's no reason for me to know that, but we get stats overload. And but unless they really tank in the ACC down the stretch, or they're put into that first round game in Dayton, they won't be playing any postseason games on Tuesday. So again, fun fact, absolutely nothing, but it's just an exaggeration of the stats overload we get. So now that we know the stats, we know his efficiency is dropping a ton, and it's rubbing off. Cormac Ryan caught the RJ Davis disease yesterday, which is shoot well from 3. 4 of 9 from 3, 6 of 14 overall. Right? 18 points. Surface level looks good. Efficiency numbers drop. And it's eating into other players' ability to impact the game who maybe are being a bit more efficient. Armando Bacot played 30 minutes, shot above 50%, only took 9 shots. Harrison Ingram played 33 minutes, shot above 50%, only took 11 shots. Go to the guys that are being efficient with their touches. Go to the guys that are being more consistent with their touches. And right now, RJ Davis from 2 is not that. If you get him an open 3, you'll never hear me argue about RJ Davis taking an open 3. Which honestly I think might end up happening more often if you go to the guys that maybe are slashers or playing down low, because then when the defense collapse, kick out, boom, RJ Davis catch and shoot. You like it.
Baycott's a pretty good passer for a big man.
You like it. Let's hear from RJ Davis. RJ Davis after the game on needing to execute better.
Just how we're always, a possession away from the game. It's always down to the wire, and the little mistakes, just like a missed rebound here or a turnover there. I think those are the minor key turning points of the game that we have to figure out, and because we're right in the games. I mean, it's not like we're down 20. We're always chipping away, possession by possession, and we're in the game. So we have to figure out how to execute better towards the end of the game and come out with wins.
Agreed. Not going to hear me argue it.
Pretty spot on.
But I don't like to just be a problems guy. I like to be a solutions guy. I think it's probably more egalitarian. It's probably more team focused down the stretch. I'm not piling on RJ Davis. This is a friendly little conversation we're having because he is likely the ACC Player of the Year, and points and scoring and volume scoring. It's all important, but I think he gets a little hero ball down the stretch. And heck, if I were RJ Davis, you wouldn't be able to tell me not to shoot either. There were times in high school basketball where I was not RJ Davis and he had to tell me not to shoot. Like, I get the temptation. It must feel like there's a flamethrower attached to his shooting arm occasionally. But don't get caught with hero ball. And then there's this other thing, and Dennis, you brought it up, and this, speaking of the warning signs kind of flashing and then coming to fruition, when it comes to North Carolina, the way they handle, it's not really the way they handle zone, although that's the way it was presented to Harrison Ingram after the game. Mm-hmm. It's the way they handle another team shuffling through defenses. So every time you're in the half court, it's a different look. It's zone, it's man, it's maybe a trap, maybe they hedge, maybe they don't on pick and roll. Maybe it's a 1-3-1, maybe it's a 2-3, maybe it's a whatever, box and one. I don't know. They're throwing everything they can at North Carolina, and they're not reacting well, which is surprising because they are so veteran, right?
Yeah.
You'd imagine there's not a defense in basketball that RJ Davis hasn't seen, that Armando Baycott hasn't seen during their time in Chapel Hill. It's
kind of like in football, the team that runs the triple option. It's like it's because it's so different, even though you've seen it before, but it's so distinct. Yep. And sometimes you have to figure it out on the fly. Okay, what exactly is happening here? And that can slow you down, because it can slow you down mentally because you're trying to figure things out, and then that physically will slow you down as well.
The cliche is you go from reacting to thinking, right? It's a cliche because I actually do think most athletes are thinking constantly. But when you see the gears turning in their head, it does. You play a little slower. You stopped instinctually playing and more, what did coach say we do when they play this style of defense? Okay, yep, okay. And no, now there's 8 seconds left on the shot clock and we got to force something up.
It just causes you to process more.
Let's hear from Harrison Ingram, the amorphous blob, one of my favorite players, after the game on why the zone gives them trouble.
It's definitely weird. I mean, most teams don't play zone, especially in college. Usually it's man-to-man, so the zone, and we like to play fast, so it kind of slows us down. And it keeps the guys stagnant because you never really know who's guarding who do you screen, who do you duck in, when do you drive. It's really hard to play against.
Okay. I mean, you're going to have to play against it, so figure it out, right? And you're a good basketball team. You have the shooters. The teams that really struggle with zone, obviously, and this goes back to like Pop Warner or PAL basketball, are the ones that can't shoot out of it and they can pack it in. So, North Carolina has some shooters. They should be able to figure it out, and they better.